leaders and influencers what's going on. So I got to give you a shot of this view here. Boom, Pikes Peak, ladies and gentlemen. Pikes Peak right there. Absolutely amazing. So I want to share a couple lessons with you guys on my emotional growth journey. And why am I doing this? Well, because for me, here's my mission is to reach the world, restore brokenness, empower leaders and influencers, affirm gifts, strengths, talents, and superpowers, cultivate deep roots, harvest long-lasting legacy fruits. And so we can change the world by changing your world. So together, and we start with changing you and me. So here's why I like to share this stuff, to help somebody, right? To add value. So two lessons. Lesson number one is, while I am processing something emotionally, I in fact, Kathy just asked me today, literally we're on our morning walk, started out at 06, and she asked me, hey, is something wrong? And I'm like, no, well, nothing's wrong. Why do you ask? Well, because the way you're acting, the way you're behaving is the way you act when you're mad at me. So I'm like, oh, okay, let me process that. And here's the big epiphany, is that when I'm up in my being, because there's some emotions and feelings that I'm processing, I realize that I'm not present. I have a challenging time processing my emotions and feelings because I'm new in this journey, this whole emotional growth journey. I'm still very relatively new on this journey. And I realized, just with this quick mini intense family fellowship, and thankfully it wasn't a big one, it was a small one, but I just realized that I have a tough time being present when I'm processing my emotions and feelings. So that's something that, that impacts everybody. That impacts my wife, that impacts my kid. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, what systems can I put in place so that I can let her know ahead of time? And here's part of my challenge is, am I even aware? Sometimes I'm not even aware that I'm processing my emotions and feelings. And if you can relate with me, give me a hashtag, I'm tracking. Hashtag, I'm tracking. If you can relate with me with not being present when you are processing emotions and feelings, when you're processing something, when you're working on something. There's the kid right there. Boom. There's Mamacita, the kid, the dog. Okay, so give me a hashtag, I'm tracking, if you can relate with me. Okay, that's the first lesson, emotional lesson today. And if you missed it, I recommend going back and checking it out. And go check out some of the other emotional growth journey videos. It starts back in December. So if you miss them, go back in December and check out episode 1, start there. Here's the second lesson I learned from my awesome wife. So we're doing these walks every day and morning PT and stuff. And one of the things that she said was, okay, so one of the challenges, so here's a story. So we recently moved, and much of our adult identity has been based around being geographically located in one spot for 22 years. When we moved, that caused a lot of reflection, a lot of different things to think about and to process. And one of the things that Kathy said was, she said, man, Noble, sometimes I get these thoughts that cause me to question our decision. Like, man, did we make the right decision? And how are we impacting other people through this move and everything? And I asked her, so where's that coming from? Where is that emotion coming from? Where is that, where does that, what's causing that, right? What's the impetus for that particular thought to come up? And she said, well, so the discovery was, it comes from an emotional muscle memory, but that wasn't even the big takeaway. the big takeaway was what she did with babe. Stop. The big takeaway was, this is that, the big takeaway was this is that, you know, what feeling or emotion, what belief, what meaning are you going to assign to that memory, to that? So when it comes up that causes you, oh man, did we make the right decision, that kind of thing, you know, this is what fascinated me. She's like, so what I'm going to do is, because my initial meaning that I attached to that feeling was that our decision was wrong. And God kept telling her that it wasn't wrong. And so what she said she was going to do is, every time that kind of emotional muscle memory came up, she was going to attach a new meaning to it. And here's the meaning. She said, okay, when that comes up again, because here's the thing is, you can't control what memories or emotions or feelings come up. They can be present emotions and feelings. It could be past. It can be from many, many years ago, especially when you start this emotional growth journey. And so the meaning that she's going to assign to it is that she's still processing the emotion and feeling. So that way she's telling herself, she's assigning the meaning to the emotion and feeling, which I was like, what? Can you do that? Is that like, I just had no idea. I had no concept, no idea that you could even do something like that you could even ascribe meaning to your emotions and feelings. So that'd be something that I would really challenge you guys is, so those two lessons for today, one is, you know, are you able to stay present emotionally when you are processing emotions and feelings? And if not, how can you create systems so that the rest of the people around you don't feel it, that they're the issue? And number two, can you be aware and pay attention to what meaning you're ascribing to your feelings and emotions? If you got something out of this, it would be awesome if you would put in what takeaways that you got from this. Let me know what your takeaways were, if this resonated with you, and go check out some of the other videos. Share this with other folks if you feel like it would add value to them as well. But change the world by changing your world, by changing you. You are worth it. You're worth your emotional healing. You're worth your emotional growth and health and fitness. I love you guys. Have an awesome day.